Welcome to the Church Communications Podcast. We want to help you become a church communications expert. We understand it's a challenging and ever-changing role because we worked in the church too, which is why we built a community of over 30,000 church leaders that are ready to support and cheer you on. Your hosts for the show are Allred, Kenny Jahng, with special guest host from the Church Communications team. They're here to help you and equip you to better reach your community. We'll talk shop with practitioners, professionals, and communications experts about what's working, what's not, and what's next. Adam, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks so much for having me, Katie. I'm super excited. And it's funny, we have known each other online for years, but I'm excited for this conversation. So I think I've been in the group probably 5 to 6 years, perhaps, somewhere along there. Since the beginning, yeah. I actually got involved with it. I was working in public relations and communications. Even throughout college, that's when I got my degree. I wasn't necessarily in church communications, but I also kind of was with volunteering for my church. I helped launch a new campus of my old church. And so a lot of that was, okay, what do we communicate? Adam, you're studying communications. I was like, great. I don't know how church communications work. But throughout the years, I just learned more and more. Just before the pandemic hit, my last corporate job, I transitioned out of there kind of unexpectedly. And then 2 weeks later, a little thing called COVID hit. I don't know if you heard of it. And so I actually started my own business doing marketing communications for businesses while still assisting my church. Started overseeing social media for the church actually as a contractor. And then 7 months ago, that sounds about right, 7 months ago, a church within my former church's network down in Boca Raton, Florida, contacted me. I was like, hey, we want to bring you on as our director of communications lead storyteller. And now here I am.
Okay, awesome. So what church are you at now?
So I'm at Victory Church. We're based out of Boca Raton. We actually just launched a new location in
That's
February
how you say
in Deerfield
that?
Beach. Yep, Boca Raton. I learned that before I moved down here because it was always Boca Raton to me.
Yeah.
And then I was told, no, it's Boca Raton. Don't say Boca Raton.
Okay, good to know. Okay, very important. Yeah, I'm from Alabama, so we have some crazy names too, like Opelika. But
Yep.
yeah,
Gotta love Opelika.
for anybody who's confused. But yeah, okay, cool. So you just really started like your full-time first journey as a church communications person, director, right? Like, so how's that?
So luckily, a lot of my corporate experience has come into play here. Um, Previously at my church, there wasn't a whole lot of actual communications and marketing. It seemed to be more environment and let's kind of make things pretty. But they brought me in to really define strategy and utilize more communication outreaches and just social media. That was pretty much what they were doing. So I implemented email marketing, print campaigns. Like that was one of the first things I did. I came in just before Christmas. I was like, we need to do postcards. They're like, nobody uses postcards anymore. I was like, you'd be surprised. Like a good postcard goes a long way. I used to be a skeptic, but I learned that it really works. And so it's been really nice navigating that, as well as I came on and I also manage a social media manager on my team. So it's my first like full-time church communications job. And not only that, I'm also managing another church communicator on top of that. Actually, that came about. One of my clients of my business was real estate, residential real estate. And of course, 2020, 2021, the real estate market was bonkers. You couldn't keep a listing up, and because it would be sold for $50,000 over market, like over ask price. And so I had the idea, hey, maybe we send postcards to the neighbors. Hey, we just sold your neighbor's house. Let's sell yours next. It just sold for $384, and we can sell yours for that. And the listings started coming in, and they like that real estate team went from a team of 3 or 4 people to 12 people within a year, just because they couldn't keep up with the listings.
That's insane.
Yes.
Yeah, the real estate market was insane. Okay, so where do you feel like we're going?
I think the church is really going to start identifying itself. When I say this, I don't mean like it's getting away from religion, but it's kind of towards where the secular world is. One of the things that we've been doing at our church is Instagram reels and TikToks, but it's not just, oh, Mark, like Jesus was walking through the town and like he healed the people. It's not just Bible stories and teaching. It's fun things. Like one of the first things I did when I came on staff here, it was actually my first day in the office. I said, "All right, we're gonna do a Christmas song sing along, and we're gonna play an obscure Christmas song. And if you can't sing it, you get pushed into the pool that's at our office house." And of course they're like, "Well, what's that have to do with the gospel?" I said, "Nothing." That's the thing. Well, I've even seen that in the worship realm with Elevation Worship's new album and Vu Worship. I don't know if you've listened to the new Vu album. Their title song is "I Met Jesus in Miami." It's not about like, oh, here's like, oh, he loves me so and he's a good father, but it's just a fun song that people can engage with. Like, oh, I can meet Jesus in Miami, and like they filmed it in a skate park. It was being able to connect with people without, especially in a world of a lot of spiritual and church trauma. How do we navigate people who have been away from church for so long? How do we get them back in? And it's by reaching them where they're at.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. Like, here's the thing. I feel like I think a lot of people forget that, like, we are the connectors of the space.
Exactly.
Like, while yes, we make graphics and yeah, some of us you turn on sound, or there's like such a plethora of things that end up falling under communications. But at the end of the day, I think it's all about how can we create real connections.
Exactly. That's our church's mission is we exist to bring the heart of God to everyone everywhere and have the experience of fullness of life. That's why I tell people my department's mission is everyone everywhere. We reach everyone wherever they're at and then it pulls them in. We have great communicators, we have great worship, but you have to get the people in the door first.
Oh yeah, 100%. Okay, so, thinking back, alright, so if you could go back, which isn't very far, okay, but, 'cause, you're relatively young for the people who are just listening, to us, but, if you could go back, before COVID maybe, and tell yourself
Yeah.
one thing about church communications, what would you tell yourself?
Don't be afraid to think outside the box. I think, especially early on, and a lot of churches do this. Oh, well, what's VU doing? What's Elevation doing? What's Church of the Highlands doing? One of the first questions I asked when I came to my church down here, I said, well, what's Victory Church going to do? Like all these other churches are doing great things. Church of the Highlands is an amazing church, but the audience of Birmingham and the whole state of Alabama is very different from South Florida. Like I even realized one of my biggest fights that we'll never win is people don't come to church on time. It's like, okay, service starts at 9, they'll see us at 9:10. I was like, well, how do we like maybe because Church of Highlands will do pre-shows and pre-service elements. And I realized that's not what's going to bring people in. That works in Birmingham, that's not what's going to work here. Here it's environments and it's the scarcity mindset of if you miss this like golf game that we have for Father's Day, if you're not here, you're not going to win the $200 Home Depot gift card.
Ah, so it's FOMO. Yeah, there's
Exactly.
something that works for everyone. Okay, so
Yep.
talking about that, like, what communication channel works best for your church?
Um, it's kind of a mix because our church, so South Florida, especially Boca, is very much an older population. It's older and it's very young. There's very few families in the middle. So the older people, they prefer like that direct communication. Like they want to see video announcements every Sunday. They want to have paper handouts. The younger people, they're on our Instagram.
You know what? I like paper in hand
As do I.
more than I thought I would.
Exactly. Well, like one thing that I did when we came down here was invite
But
cards.
I'm 32 now, so I guess I'm old.
I feel old sometimes. I know I'm 25. I feel like I'm 55 some days. Well, even we were at the VU conference, was it last week? And I was like, I know I'm the same age as a lot of people here, but I don't feel like it. I'm wearing Carhartt and Crocs.
Well, that's why you can come to our conference and you'll fit in great.
Beautiful. See you in Nashville.
Yeah, no, anyways, continue.
And so we're able to reach a lot of our younger people, especially on Instagram. We're trying TikTok or pushing TikTok, but I've learned that a lot of our people are not on TikTok yet. Like they prefer Instagram
Yeah,
Reels, which is fast,
yeah.
especially like I said, we have a very young church. We're right next to Florida Atlantic University. There's a lot of college.
Yeah,
Our youth group is absolutely amazing and like large. A lot of the kids who come don't even come to our church. They come from neighboring churches. And I was like, they should be on TikTok.
and what is the size of your
Um,
church? Like, just to give people a reference point.
we probably, let's see here. In person, we're probably about 1,000 each week with another 1,000 to
Okay.
1,500 online. And so we've realized a lot of people, and I think it's because Instagram is such a hybrid of Facebook and TikTok, because you can scroll, you can see the feed post. but being able to see reels and stories, it's that place where a lot of them are gathering right now.
10 years from now, what do you foresee? If you're a prophet,
Well, I think social media will continue to be super important. I know, like, people. I was listening to Brady Shear's podcast about this, and he was talking about how when the printing press came out, people were like, "Oh, the Bible can't be printed. It's not for the common man. They need the priest." And then I think, I saw a thing on Facebook the other day. It's a newspaper clipping from like 2000. Why the internet's just a passing fad, and what and people are also saying like, "Oh, emails going out." I'm just like, I think that the digital age will continue to grow and be more engaging. I think especially when it comes to online church experiences. I know a lot of churches are like, "Oh, COVID's over, pandemic's over," whatever they might say. People coming back to church, they're not. They could be convinced to, but they're not saying, "Oh, well, there's not COVID anymore. I'm vaccinated, whatever it might be, so I'll go back to church." They're still going to be online. It's going to be about connecting those people who are your online audience to bring them in. And even like our church, we're talking about, because we have people who watch us online from across the country. So how do they're not going to come to Boca Raton every Sunday from Washington State. And so something that we're looking into is watch parties, where it's a church service where they watch our online experience. And then afterwards they circle up and it's a small group. Let's talk about it.
Something, that I want to ask you, I'm really turning the page here quite a bit. So something I want to ask you that's just fun and dumb. What is your favorite font right now?
Honestly, I love Babus New. I think Babus New can be used everywhere. So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at the Adam D, as in Daniel Morris, or they can email me adam@victory.org. Or if you go to our website, victory.org, you'll find me on the staff page, and that's the best place to find me.
Okay, well, awesome. Thanks so much for joining us today, Adam. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks so much, Katie.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Church Communications Podcast. If you want to learn more, join over 30,000 church leaders in our Facebook group at churchcommunications.com/group. If you liked today's episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. It's the most impactful way you can help us reach more church leaders and equip them to better communicate for the church. Finally, don't forget to check out our website at churchcommunications.com. Thanks for listening.